Welcome to the Manic Money Finance channel. I'm Money Mike. I'm here to bring you the news about the financial markets, right? I am here to tell you about the insanity that is coming up. And I'm here to tell you, don't worry about last week. Don't worry about Friday. Cuz it's just a bunch of BS, right? That one day massive correction, it's going to be a V-shaped gain right in your face. You sold. You got scared and you sold. And now they're going to make you look like a fool. All right. First off, I just realized we don't have the ambiance. All right. I was streaming all afternoon into the evening. We do not have the ambiance, people. This is a problem. I need this in my life. All right. Now we're going green. Why are we going? That's not green. We're going green. Why? Because of money. Ooh, that's kind of fun when I'm doing it in real time and the colors are just changing. Huh? You would think it was a special effect of some kind. No, just Wi-Fi LED bulbs, baby. Woo! All right. Time to share the stream. Onto the Facebook. Oh, Manic Money Finance, baby. This is what we do. Time to share the stream. So, anybody that follows the markets, apparently audio is good. Anybody that follows the markets, you saw what happened on Friday. That was ridiculous. Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity, baby. Friday markets. I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to bring up the Bitcoin chart right away because we're rocking into that 8 o'clock, 8:30 hour. I was literally just looking at this freaking bottom right here thinking reversal imminent. And wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know? So, fun fact, Bitcoin rejected this 100,000. Remember this cone? Remember this cone that I drew? A while back? Oh, would you look at that? It's just playing out beautifully here. I'm amazed. More people don't watch this channel, dude. We're funneling into the bottom part of this cone right now. And you know, just like I told you, you're seeing higher lows. You're seeing that volatility in all those candles there from Friday. Because, let's face it, Bitcoin and the SPY are not fully decoupled. And this boy is going to play into this cone beautifully. You know, obviously there's been a couple forays, a couple little bounces just barely outside of this cone. But, I mean, you see this. We'll back up to the 1 month and we'll show you. Because I drew this thing a while ago. And I've been showing you guys this thing is going to consolidate. And you're going to see tighter and tighter price actions here. And then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And I can't guarantee whether it's going to go up or it's going to go down. What are these? Oh, GDP, core PCE, personal income, Man, TradingView started putting future economic data on the chart. Ooh, that's nice. That's real nice. So remember what I was talking about with the 8:30 p.m. reversal. So this is an ugly pattern right here. And we're talking about Bitcoin because it's Sunday. It's past 8 p.m. We're not going to be talking about the SPY right now and how that's trading because the SPY is not trading right now. All right? Get over it. Okay? And this is a very interesting little thing going on here. Because you see, you get 4 little green candles, and then one green candle basically wipes out. One red candle basically wipes out 3 green candles. That's not a good sign. And I mean, you can see it here. All these green candles coming up from this bottom here at 96,150. And when it hit 96.5, bam. You're starting to see this condensation. We call it condensation. I don't know. Condensation in price. You start to see it start trading in these small little increments. That's when it's going to blast off. I think it's going up. I've been talking about this for a while. That in the springtime, we were going to see 125. It's just based off of the models, the halvening, et cetera, et cetera. We seem to have a very crypto-friendly administration in the White House right now. It's going to be nothing but good stuff for us. You know what I mean? So I'm just waiting for this 8:30 p.m. reversal. Given that this is basically a downward direction here. So not looking good on this 1 minute chart. I'm thinking we're going to see a little spring, and then Monday morning, the S&P 500 will follow suit because they've not decoupled. I'm sorry. The only decoupling I've seen for the most part, I only saw one day where the S&P 500 was down when Bitcoin was up. But for the most part, Bitcoin will go down and the S&P will kind of either trade sideways or go up. So obviously you see, they always talk about MicroStrategy over here on TradingView because they just keep buying Bitcoin. Wild, but it's 8:12 p.m. and I'm thinking we're going to see a reversal. This looks like a stop loss hunt on the bulls. And when they, the stop loss hunt on the bulls, and once that is exhausted, 96,000 support, bam. So you're probably asking if you weren't paying attention on Friday, and you didn't see the S&P 500 on Friday, it was wild. We'll just look at the 5-day so you can get a better view of this bad boy. But this was Thursday afternoon. Friday at open, we were still up. This is all-time high, just so you know. Right here, all-time high. All right? That's the highest it's ever been. And you see this gap down in the morning here. So it started opening just slightly down in the morning. Guess what? You got effed. If you thought the S&P was going to keep going up on a Friday morning with the economic data that was coming out, well, my friend, I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully, like most day traders had made their money earlier in the week on the Monday through Thursday, and they were out on Friday. And they were watching this going down, thinking to themselves, with this dip, I have an opportunity to make some money here. Right? It's wild. You see gold. Gold could not maintain the 3,000 either, which is wild. So you saw basically every asset class go down on Friday. Bitcoin rejected 100K. The S&P 500 rejected their all-time high. You only saw a little foray in over the 6,100 or the 610 on the SPY because it's 1/10 of the S&P 500. And then bam, we lost it. Not badly, though. A lot of people will see this on a Friday and think, oh my God, this is the boomer exit strategy. This is the next Great Depression starting up again. And I will counter with, no. That's just not how it works. This is literally consolidation. And I can bring you up on the economic data. So, and Market Watch does this fun thing where it lets you look at last week's economic data, so you can see exactly what happened. Right? Let me share that with you guys right now. Let me just bring that right up for you guys here, okay? All right. So if you see this S&P Flash U.S. Services PMI down from what they were expecting. The manufacturing was good, but the U.S. Services PMI down. Consumer sentiment down. Existing home sales down. And then you had a couple Fed presidents and vice chairmen speaking. And, at that point, it was already game over. And you can see most of this economic data, besides Philly's Fed manufacturing survey, which is good. Initial jobless claims were up. That's probably all those federal workers. So it didn't take much, when you're going into an all-time high in the S&P 500, you need that economic data to be good. You need that economic data not to be a blockbuster, but you need it to be beating the median forecast in order to keep going up. All right. So let's talk about, economic data for this week ahead. We have a golden albatross, a unicorn, a rarity on Monday, in that there is no scheduled economic data on Monday. Let's think about that for a second, because there's always economic data. It doesn't matter. The fact that there's going to be a Monday with absolutely zero economic data coming out, that's that V-shaped correction in your face. Do not be surprised if the S&P 500 rockets over 6,050. Don't be surprised. This stuff's baked in. Friday afternoon, the big boys were buying the dip. Retail was ditching their measly shares, and the institutional investors and the market makers were buying up millions of freaking shares, people. Like, obviously, Tuesday's economic, this stuff, consumer confidence, this Dallas Fed president, this is garbage. Nobody cares about this. New home sales, also not a big deal. GDP, this Thursday is going to be the day. Thursday and Friday. PCE and core PCE year over year. What? You're going to see some stuff going down on Thursday and Friday. So make your money in the first 3 days of this week. All right? Trade the fundamentals. Trade the dip. Buy the dip. Because you're going to see some insanity going on. You see this on this S&P 500 chart, right? This is a really interesting thing right here on this S&P 500 chart. You see this big old volume, red candle here. Meanwhile, the market's still closed at 599. I can tell you the overnight trading right now in the futures market trading on the S&P 500. I'm going to look it up on the old telefono, cellular telephone, because, would you look at that? The overnight trading right now in the S&P 500 in the 24-hour market. Can you guess where it is? 6,020. It's already back over 6,000 in the overnight trading. This is where you get those gaps up. You see that gap right there? You see this gap right here? That's going to fill eventually. It has to. That's just how the S&P 500 works. So today's volume is 76 million on the SPY. And it is back over 6,000 right now. 6,020 and $3.30. So that should tell you everything you need to know right now. It's wild, man. They got you. They got you. I wouldn't be surprised if the freaking S&P opened at 6,050 tomorrow. And all y'all retail traders that sold, you're going to look like a bunch of fools. Not only that, we're coming up on the 8:30 p.m. reversal right now on Bitcoin. We saw an ascending double bottom not more than 10 minutes ago now. This is wild. This is wild. You see this economic data? You see this stuff? It's going to be counterintuitive. So this is trading is one of the few things that I would have to say is very much counterintuitive. I've seen stocks release earnings, and they're you think, okay, because most stocks are releasing blockbuster earnings, and then their stock price drops. This doesn't make any sense. They beat expectations. They beat all the analyst predictions, and their stock price dropped. And then you'll see stocks with lukewarm earnings numbers, but because the CEOs get on the call and they start hyping this bad boy up, like Palantir, for instance, which has not gotten over 15 cents per share, 15 cents earning per share, never gotten over it. But because they got included on the S&P 500 and they're getting listed in different ETFs, their stock has gone through the freaking roof. And it makes no sense as far as an AI company goes. Like, they've been the big winner, and I picked them. Don't get me wrong. I was telling you guys about those $37 calls for 2026 back in the beginning of 2024. The first half of 2024, I was telling you guys. I told my mom to buy those calls. And they went from $200 a contract to $10,000 a contract. And I told you guys about those. But now I'm telling you right now, these gains that they have been achieving lately are unsustainable. And the fact that there is actual analysts and market makers saying that their fair value price is $80 a share is freaking insane. Let's look at that. Let's look at Palantir. A little PLTR action for you guys. Because, we were talking about this bad boy on this channel a long time ago. Let's look at that 1 year chart so you can see the insanity. And you can see this massive freaking gap right here, which is going to fill. Even this gap down here never filled. There's a very good chance that gap in the $45 range is going to fill. That's why I have this as a short sell on my top 10 for 2025. Right? Earnings are going up, and earnings are going up very well. But do you know what the insiders are doing on this stock? Insiders are selling their shares like it's freaking like bonanza. These guys are selling their shares like they own a stockpile of tulip buds during the 1800 Dutch tulip bubble. They are selling these things like crazy. The only people buying this stock right now is retail. Even market makers and institutional investors are like, yeah, no, we should probably hold off a little bit. This thing's been going nuts. It's associated with AI. But I was talking about this bad boy back at $15 a share on this channel. You can go back to the beginning of this channel, February 2024, when I first started this channel, and Crypto Corey was still on here with me. And you'll see we were talking about Palantir. I was talking about Palantir because Crypto Corey does crypto. And I was telling you guys, man, you need to buy these calls. And sure enough, from around $20 a share to over $120 a share, like, that's life-changing money if you had listened to us or me. But it is what it is now. You're gonna see the drop. It's gonna happen. There's just no way a stock that has a market cap of 237 billion with profits of what 15 cents per share is 14 cents per share is going to keep going up like this. So when a company grows like that so rapidly, they're going to have to eventually hire more staff. And when do they do that? They usually do that in the beginning of the year. If you notice, their quarter one earnings are lucky to hit the estimates. So that's why this has been downgraded. So I think you'll see a drop to 10 cents per share. And you're going to see this thing tank because of it. So just be ready, because let's face it, the AI boom, this big AI boom, I mean, it's kind of over. Now China's got DeepSeek. Like there's AI everywhere now. All the large companies are using it now. It's in your video editing software. I mean, I make videos. I just did a PC build video today on the Populous Personas channel, right? And I use AI every time to make my subtitles. It's not that complicated. I have to walk away from the computer for a half hour. That's how long it takes. It takes a freaking half hour for the AI to figure out what I'm saying. And then I still have to go through afterwards and correct it. Correct the grammar, correct the spelling. Like the AI boom is over. I'm thinking now, because what I'm seeing a quantum computing boom coming. Now, I know these charts look very similar, but look at the market cap. The market cap right now in this bad boy is 2.25 billion. And the only gap that needs to be filled is to the upside on this bad boy, right? If you're going to be buying anything right now, you're going to be in the quantum computing realm of things, because AI cannot keep advancing without quantum computing. It's just not going to happen. For AI to hit that next level, it needs quantum computing. Most AIs are programmed in Python. And if anybody knows anything about computer coding, I've been teaching myself computer coding. Python is incredibly slow compared to other computer coding languages. It's simple to use. Therefore, it takes less payroll to crank out code, but it is higher on computing power necessary to make the code run. And most of your AIs, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, all these other ones, guess what they're coded in? They're coded in freaking Python because they're language learning models. And that's what Python is really good for. They're not coding it in C++, which is a very efficient computer coding language still. It is more efficient than literally every other single computer coding language. I know I'm getting into the weeds right now, but you know what I mean. All right. We're looking to the week ahead. And you're probably thinking, Money Mike, what am I going to buy for the week ahead? And oh my God. You're looking at this chart right now, right? You're thinking, oh, what is this? This has to be a meme coin, right? No. This right here is a Chinese company that had a reverse split recently. And when it had the reverse split right around here. Back in mid-February, it had the reverse split. You see this giant red candle? That was a day after the reverse split, right? But it consolidated. It found new support. We had some volume, some green candles, and now it's starting to flag out. And I think from here, because their next earning report is in just a few days, they just named a brand new CFO. Meanwhile, these people have contracts on contracts on contracts going forward. I think we're going to see some insanity on this stock this week. It's technically in the consumer services field, movies and entertainment, but it's karaoke. It's a Chinese company, and they're big into karaoke, but they also do other things. And the market cap is only 6.6 million. The average volume has dropped to 845,000 per day. The volume the last day was 315,000. So volume's down, but price is still looking really nice here. We're looking this is a near-term investment. This is not a long-term hold, right? Where you looking for a $5 to $10 price target on this bad boy. Then we're getting out with some profit. This is I am 100% elbow deep into this bad boy on the small account, the brokerage small account challenge. I'm telling you, this is one of my picks for the week. I also, I got into the whole. I was telling you guys about the Bitcoin small account challenge. Let me look this one up. So we had the crypto small account challenge, right? And I was telling you about the. It's called Gitcoin, the buyer seller ratio. So this is Gitcoin. I had the buyer seller ratio in the past 5 days. I mean, like a fool, I bought in the morning when the buyer seller ratio was super high on Friday, right around here, because Bitcoin dumped. This went down a little bit. I'm still into this thing. I still think that we're going to be looking at, obviously this looks like this chart is interesting because it has such low volume, but the market cap's only 42 million. The 24-hour trading volume is 5.76 million. The average volume on the 30 days is only 260,000. So this thing is experiencing a massive amount of volume in the last 24 hours, and it keeps doing that. I think this thing is going to go nuts. I'm also looking at District Ox on Coinbase. And there's only one reason I'm looking at this. I'm on profit on this bad boy right now. I jumped into this thing Saturday morning. Right around, let's see where we're Saturday morning here. Somewhere around this range here. All right. I jumped into this thing. Let's draw some cones. All right. Let's go right. We don't like the wicks. Let me get the solid candles here. Solid candles. Let's draw some cones. This low, the lowest low. So this thing might actually trade down in the near term. There's a reason I went into this one. And it has everything to do with high frequency trading bots and algorithmic trading sequences. So many of you might not know, but a year ago, District Ox shot up in the beginning of March here, shot up to 20 cents a piece. It was the first time in years that this thing went absolutely nuclear. And back in November into December, when Bitcoin was hitting over 100K, this thing hit 8 cents twice. So that's over double from where we are now. But the way high frequency trading bots and algorithmic trading works is they look at patterns. They are a slave to the patterns. So they see, hey, this thing popping. It's going to start popping as we get into March. And these bots and algorithms are going to start buying this thing. And there's going to be a lot of people that are looking at this chart going, we're 1 year from this massive spike. We'll probably just buy it just in case, As far as stability goes, price stability goes, this thing spends a lot of time on the 3.5 cents. And it has not dropped below 3 cents. It usually stays well above 3 cents. This is a pretty stable cryptocurrency as far as cryptocurrencies go. So you're getting this thing basically at the bottom right now. And you see how this cone works, how these cones work. Obviously, this high is higher. So we'll go from there, and then we'll go from there. And we'll draw some bigger cones for you guys. So you get a longer price pattern. We're basically just going to draw this straight line all the way out here. Like this thing is starting to tighten up. It's starting to consolidate. The trading range is going to really just start to compress. And that's when you get a pop. Don't get me wrong. I could be out of this thing at 7 cents, double my money. That might just be good enough, especially if it happens ahead of this March, end of February, end of February, first to second week of March. Like if this thing happens, if this thing pops ahead of time, I might just be out. It really depends on how much money I make in a short amount of time. Because I jumped into this thing on Saturday. I'm already in profit. Just saying. Let's look. Let's go back and check out that Bitcoin 830 reversal. See if it played out for us. Let's go back into the 1-day chart here. It's 8:35 right now. It almost looked like it was going to do a reversal. We might see a reversal right now. If we're going to see the SPY do a V-shaped correction tomorrow, it would be good to see Bitcoin pop tonight because Bitcoin tends to be a predictor of the S&P. You can actually make a lot of money, and you'll be right the majority of the time if you trade the SPY relative to what Bitcoin did the weekend before SPY opened on Monday morning. Right? We're hitting a 96,000 support, hopefully. But then again, you see this trading range because Bitcoin trades on a very long time frame. You're seeing this round top, which is ugly. Nobody likes to see that. But then you're seeing this stair-stepper pattern, this progressively higher lows and higher highs, and it's just slowly building. It's taking its time. So we might actually see a little drop tonight. We might not see the 8:30 p.m. reversal. It's actually really not looking good. It would need to start taking off from here, because you guys know if you watch the channel, that 8:30 p.m. reversal, that's a money maker. So you're probably thinking, well, if the SPY and everything else, if it doesn't do well, how can I still make money? And that's why. Let's get the stocks. Stocks. Oh, this bad boy right here. This bad boy right here looks primed for a pop. So this gap basically filled here. You saw this gap fill here, but you see these volume. These are not wicks right here. These giant green bars. These are volume bars spiking up well above the price region. So micro cloud hologram hollow on the stock market. We're gonna put it down. We're gonna mark it down right now because we're gonna revisit this probably on Tuesday. Probably gonna jump back on here on Tuesday. I might jump back on here tomorrow, depending. If some crazy stuff happens, I'm gonna have to jump back on here tomorrow. But this right here is one of my top picks for the week. This one, Rhyme, they're both looking good. They're looking beautiful. They're looking sweet. This is the kind of stuff, the kind of setups that people dream of. These giant green candles. And if you look at the 5-day, you see this gap up. This is a head and shoulders, yes, without a doubt. But it might be a little while before the gap fills. This might be this gap filling here. I mean, you see this gap filled right here. But you see what this thing does. If you back up a year, you will see how this thing spikes insanely and randomly. And it is a massive money maker every time it does. And on Friday, I mean, this thing actually showed quite a bit of resilience compared to the S&P and the broader market in general. I mean, if you were a day trader and you jumped into this thing Friday afternoon at what, 3:30? In a half hour. In a half hour, you made 10%, if not more, just from 3:30 onward. And I mean, you'd be stupid to sell at that point because the setup is just so beautiful. Oh yeah, Bitcoin is back over 96,000. Ooh. Oh, I'm gonna see it pop tonight. Yeah, Hollow ended up being up 30% on Friday alone. 31% on Friday alone. It's up 12% on the week still. That's only when you back up to a month that is down. And the volume on Friday was 190 million shares. This is on a market cap of $32 million. So this thing can frickin' fly. And they are pushing. They're pushing a lot. Obviously, there's no hedge fund ownership in this bad boy. The earnings are bad. This thing just tends to fly in everybody's face. Another one this week, because remember, we were talking about this when Trump got elected as president. We're going to be looking at small cap stocks. Another one I like is Faraday Future Intelligent Electric. They make electric vehicles. They do a lot of other stuff. The long-term chart looks like garbage, but you see these pops. You see these huge pops from freaking $1 to $4. That's 4 times your money if you can play that right. And obviously, you see this gap, it filled. This thing is we got a round bottom. Remember, round bottoms make money. This thing wants to go. We'll draw the cone. We'll draw the cone on a bunch of these charts because I will remember these stocks. I have that kind of memory. I think this low is a little lower. We're going to see it. If it can break out of this trend on Monday alone, you could see some crazy stuff with Faraday Electric. It's interesting stuff. Let me go ahead and stuff like Fartcoin. Don't buy that. If you buy a Fartcoin, you're an idiot. You are an absolute idiot. Let me just I'm trying to find my little list. Dude, what is your problem? You have to excuse me. My dog was just licking the crap out of himself for about 5 minutes straight, and it finally got to me. So, dude, stop. And we're going to find ourselves my list. So, yeah, Hollow, microalgo. We're talking about microalgo. So, another one I'm looking at. And I remember these because TradingView remembers them for me. And you'll notice a lot of these things are beating the frick down. But you saw this gap up. And this gap is basically filled now. Volume is way up recently. I'm gonna go with the lowest low, and you gotta match the highest high there, and you're gonna find that highest high. And this thing, you know, it's this thing's gonna pop. It can't help it. If you look at the one, oh, see what happens when you zoom in. When you zoom out, you draw your cones, and then you zoom in, and you want to draw your cones out past where the current price action is happening. And then what happens is when you zoom in and you actually look at these things, you'll see how this thing falls into this cone pattern beautifully. And then you'll watch. That'll be the catalytic point right here. It'll be 150, probably Monday, 10 a.m., something like that. And you'll probably see this thing move up. Because I'm sorry, the amount of volume, like the average volume is only 2.96 million. The volume on Friday, 84 million. Market cap of 20 million. I'm telling you guys, the small caps are where it's at. These large caps aren't going to do you any favors. There are a few large caps I like. They're mostly beaten down, like Intel. Intel within the past day, boom, it consolidated with the SPY. Obviously, this gap really wants to fill, but that gives us a price target, right? From 23.50 to 24.50. We might see that this week. That would be the time to start buying Intel stock again. It's a beautiful thing. Nvidia, AMD, especially AMD. AMD is trash lately. Intel has been gold. Nvidia is so oversold. I mean, there's nothing to justify where the price on Nvidia is going. Yeah, they released the 5090. They released the 5090 too early. It's going to have problems. Right now, they're not making a ton of money on the 5090. So they're selling the 5090 for $3,000. The reason that there is a massive freaking rush right now to get 5090s is because there's very few of them. And what's happening is most of the people buying 5090s right now, they're not putting them in their computers. They know better. They're reselling them on eBay and Newegg and all these other reselling sites now, because there's tons of them now. So Nvidia is not even making the good cash on these 5090s. It's just random people who aren't even planning on putting them in their computers, because anybody that knows anything knows that you don't put brand new GPUs, brand new chips, CPUs, etc. You don't put them in your computers because they're probably going to have problems. So I don't think the 5090s are going to be a huge boon to Nvidia's stock price. I think if anything, it's going to be kind of lackluster because they're not much better than the 4090. I mean, I'm the perfect example. I am the perfect example myself. I am rocking a 4090, and I got third, fourth, maybe fifth generation 4090. I have an Asus Republic of Gamers 4090. I just did my PC build video today on Populous Personas. You can check it out. But I can actually bring up for you. I can bring up my screen and show you guys how. I'll just share the screen with you guys. All right. I'll bring up. All right. Just so you see, I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to show you guys my 4090 GPU right now. So I uploaded a 2-hour video to YouTube. I edited a 25-minute video in the course of 2 hours. And I put AI subtitles on it. And that is very taxing to the computer. So I'm uploading 4K videos. I'm editing 4K videos. I live stream for 3 hours, streaming on Streamlabs while also playing a brand new game with, cutting edge graphics. And you can see my GPU temperature. It never got over 45 degrees Celsius. Like this is the default mode, like it's max. But if you actually look at the GPU clock, max 2745, voltage max 1050, that is a fraction. The max memory clock 21,000, my max GPU temp right here for the day was 43 Celsius. That probably happened while I was in a cinematic cutscene while I was live streaming. My power target status, it was 43% of max. Like this makes no sense. Why would you need a 5090? My 4090 can run the brand new games seamlessly with no problem on maximum graphic output while live streaming in 4K. You don't need the 5090. I know that was probably long-winded for you guys. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stop sharing that screen because we're getting the little the mirror effect. Like if you've ever been to a salon that has mirrors on both walls, that's what that is, right? That never-ending mirror corridor. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm predicting a bounce. I'm predicting a bounce all around, everywhere. I think you're going to see the commodity markets bounce. The SPY is already bouncing. That could break down. That could definitely break down. Bitcoin is not bouncing tonight. That is for sure. We are seeing a fall to the downside of this cone, which is fine. This cone has a lot of time to play out. All right. We're going to see beginning of the March, basically. This thing is going to consolidate to a point where it's going to want to pop. I mean, the fact that Bitcoin in less than a week's time, in 3 days, made a run from 93.5 to 100K again, and couldn't get above it, of course. But the fact that it made that run in 3 days' time is insane. It did not drop to where it was before. And if you see this cone, it is playing out beautifully into this thing. We're on the low side right now. But as long as this thing doesn't bounce below 95.3 in the next day, life is good. I still think we're going to see a reversal tonight at some point. This is not a bad looking chart here. And, most people aren't going to expect this thing to be popping. Like, obviously, you don't see the overnight trading on this bad boy. The overnight trading is 6,020 right now, 602. So way up here. That's what the overnight trading is right now on this bad boy. So there is something to that. Not only that, we'll drop out to the 6 month. We'll draw some cones here. Obviously, because you have these lows, we're going to see more of an upward cone. Well, this is the trading range here. Like it is nothing but onwards and upwards. And you see it reached the high part of that trading range and it rejected it, which is fine because right now this trading range is massive for this thing. Like, this is massive. It needs to consolidate. It needs to tighten up. This volatility is not healthy on the stock market. All right. The stock market's not where you want to see this. Bitcoin, that's okay. But the S&P, negative. Your old heads trading this thing, they don't want to see that. And there was no economic data. The only reason that the S&P 500 dropped on Friday, the excuse they used was tariffs, Trump tariffs. Even though they're not, we got like another 3 weeks before we have to possibly worry about tariffs going through. And you and I both know that Canada and Mexico are going to do exactly what Trump wants them to do to avoid these tariffs, because that would be detrimental to their economy. They're not going to play around. That would be stupid. So, yeah. Well, hopefully I illustrated some stuff for you guys tonight. I think we're looking at a V-shaped reversal. I think we're looking at the stock market going up. Bitcoin going up. Crypto going up. That's what I'm trading like. Then again, I'm also jumping into small caps. Beating down small caps at that. I'm looking at reversals. Oh, Blue Hat. I didn't even talk to you about Blue Hat. So Blue Hat, we didn't even look at commodities either. What am I doing, man? So B Hat, which is Blue Hat. We're going to go ahead. We're going to share this bad boy with you guys right now. Blue Hat has seen some increased volatility as of late. We're going to look at the 6-month chart. We're going to draw some cones here. We're going to negate this. We see some gaps down and stuff. I want to look at near-term stuff, right? I want to look at this near-term stuff. We'll just go ahead and delete this. I'm going to draw a better line here. We're going to get this low here. And we're going to stay right off of there. And then as far as the high goes, right here is beautiful. All right, and then we're going to go to that other one there. So Blue Hat is talking about doing a freaking reverse split. As you see, it popped recently. Now it's trading on the low side of this cone. See this round bottom here? This round bottom, that made you money. You would have made close to double your money. At least 35, 40%. So this bad boy is talking about doing a reverse split. They're not talking about doing a massive reverse split. Just enough to get them to like $1.50 share price. And the market cap right now is only 13 million. Volume is way up in the past week or two. It brought the average volume to $169 million a share. Even so, on a down couple days, the volume on Friday was still $90 million. $90 million on a market cap of 13.5 million. You know what that means? This thing is primed to run. Obviously, it might have that consolidation. It might respect the cone. It might work its way up here into the end of the month before it actually consolidates and then pow, pops up. And with the reverse split, obviously all these prices are going to change. But they are another one that I'm eyeing. So this is what I'm eyeing now. I'm eyeing beaten down small cap stocks. Reverse split plays right now look good due to the way that this current economy is. These investment funds, these hedgies, these retail traders, they still need to make money. And you know what they're doing is they're looking at the highest short sold stocks. All right. They're looking at the highest shorted stocks. It's the highest percentage of short interest. We're about to bring you down another freaking rabbit hole, people. And I don't care if you should hold me accountable on these bad boys. So, the highest shorted stocks. So right here, like this short date was 131. All these short dates are 131, so they're delayed. But Saks Parente Golf. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? It's popping. It's up from where it was when these guys were talking about it. This thing $1.12. Ooh, look at that. Let's look at the 1 month chart. Oh, back in January 31st, when it was around $1 a share, it was short sold to oblivion. Now it's going up. So if you're going to look at highest shorted stocks, the best, this is fintel.io. This is the best place to look because there's no massive delay. This is real-time data. Yeah, obviously, because fintel.io is giving you real-time data, you're going to need to pay for that subscription. But they're going to give you the number one Reborn Coffee, which is wild because most of this is off exchange volume. And it's 20% short interest to float. IBKR. So fintel.io. I'm dropping nuggets for you guys right now. If you want to just look at high short sold stocks. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, by the time you find this bad boy, it's already popped. So it really helps to watch the charts because with those fintel.io's stocks, they short sold stocks. Usually by the time you can even find them, bam. Bam. This is a $17 million market cap stock. Just going nutty. This is all the stuff I'm looking at, people. I'm looking for beaten down stocks, reverse split plays, all the stuff you wouldn't touch from the last 4 years. But now, because of the economy we're going into, the administration we have, these things are looking like a T-bone steak that is just off the grill, cooked perfectly, medium rare, some sauteed onions on top. That's what these stocks are looking like now. They used to look like garbage in a dumpster, stinking to high heaven. Now they look like pure gold. Something to think about. But I've already told you the ones that I like. Rhyme, B-Hat, Hollow. We're going to revisit those in the next couple days. We're also going to revisit Bitcoin, the SPY, because I made some predictions tonight. I'm sticking by it. A V-shaped correction incoming. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Volatility inbound, baby. This has been Manic Money. Stay frosty, my friends.